Have you ever wondered why some people merely see a vision, and then within days, they hold in their hands the very fortune they imagined? You're not poor because of your circumstances. You're not broke because of a number in your bank account. You're broke because you haven't seen the wealth that already belongs to you. Let me tell you this: the one who sees with the inner eye will touch gold with the outer hand. You don't become rich by chasing money. You become rich by assuming the state of the millionaire until the world mirrors that assumption back to you. Every man who became a millionaire first did so in imagination. He walked through the halls of abundance, slept in the mansion of fulfilled dreams, and dined with the future before anyone saw a dime. I ask you now, can you see what you cannot see? Because if you can, and you dare to hold the vision with faith for just 3 days, riches will come as surely as the morning follows the night. The greatest secrets are often the simplest, so simple that most overlook them. The eye that sees riches is not the eye of flesh, but the eye of spirit. The inner eye, the imagination, is the root from which all riches grow. If a man would only close his physical eyes and open the one within, he would discover a wealth that no bank could contain and no thief could steal. That is the law, that is the key. That is the whole secret. All manifestation begins with vision. No, the vision that creates is active, vibrant, and lived. To see a thing and feel it is to claim it. To feel a truth with all your might is to impress it on the universal substance from which all things emerge. You do not plant a seed and hope. You plant a seed and know. That knowing, that confidence is the force that turns the invisible into the seen. When a man declares, "I am wealthy," yet sees only bills, lack, and limitation, he has made a fatal error. He has let the outer appearance deceive him. He has walked by sight, not by faith. He has looked with the eyes of man and not with the eye of spirit. The moment you allow the outer world to define you, you give away your creative power. And yet the world will beg you to believe it. It will show you numbers in your account, rejections in your inbox, and call it truth. But remember, the world is a mirror, and a mirror only shows you what you've already projected. You cannot be rich outwardly until you are rich inwardly. That is a spiritual law. If you see poverty, even in a palace, it will follow you. If you see wealth, even in a small room with nothing but dust, it will arise to meet you. The vision must come first. You must choose it deliberately, intentionally, and repeatedly, especially when the evidence says otherwise. The inner eye is the brush, and your feelings are the color. You must paint your reality from within. The most powerful moment is when you are tempted to agree with lack, and you choose instead to see plenty. That moment determines your future. That moment is a test. Pass the test, fail it, and you repeat the cycle again. The people of the world who walk in wealth are not simply lucky, they are aligned. Somewhere, consciously or unconsciously, they have held the image of wealth as truth. They have not entertained its opposite long enough to let it take root. Their riches may not have begun in dollars, and that awareness grew. Every soul must guard their inner eye. You do not let weeds grow in a garden and expect roses. Why then would you let images of struggle and scarcity take root in your mind and expect abundance? Every thought is a seed. Every image is a command. Every assumption is a lawmaker. To be rich in 3 days is not a matter of hustle. It is a matter of vision. Can you hold a picture of wealth so clearly, so faithfully, that you feel its truth in your bones? Can you walk through your day as though you are already provided for? Can you speak as one who lacks nothing, even when others pity you? That is the test. That is the training. That is the miracle. The inner eye, properly used, becomes a torch. It burns through the fog of doubt. It casts light on the invisible riches prepared for you, and yet most never use it. They bow their heads to the God of circumstance and forget that the kingdom is within. They pray for a sign when the only sign required is their belief. You must see what the world cannot. You must hold the image even when it seems impossible, especially when it seems impossible, because faith is born when reason has collapsed. You are not meant to beg, barter, or plead. You are meant to create. What you see within is your sacred possession. Guard it, nourish it, leaven it. If the image of wealth lives in you with strength, it must break through into form. The world cannot stop it. Nothing can. And I say again, do not look with doubt. Do not question how. The hoe is none of your concern. The soil does not need to know the gardener's plan. The seed does not question the harvest. It only knows to grow. You are the seed and the gardener both. Plant with vision, tend with feeling, reap with certainty. If a man were to choose one act for the next 3 days, let it be this: to see himself wealthy and hold that image as sacred truth. Let him speak it, dress it, think it, walk it. Let him dare to live as though it were already done. And on the third day, the only ever obeys, will begin to whisper back a yes. So be it. For what you see becomes, not later, not maybe, but now. There is only one cause in this world, and that cause is consciousness. Everything else, your environment, your relationships, your opportunities, your financial condition, is simply the outpicturing of a state you have occupied within. Man is not the reflection of his bank account. The bank account is the reflection of the man. That is why to become wealthy, one must first become wealthy in consciousness. And there is no wealth greater than the awareness that you already are what you desire to be. The spiritual identity of man has always been rich. You are not a creature striving toward abundance. You are abundance asleep dreaming of lack. You are not a beggar pleading for supply. You are the eternal supplier, imagining yourself empty. To awaken is to remember your inheritance. The moment you remember that you are the operant power, that you are the cause, not the effect, you reclaim your divine riches. You do not manifest money by effort or toil. You manifest money by entering the state of being one who already possesses it. This state has nothing to do with your job title or your possessions. It is a feeling, a tone, a certainty that lives in the unseen realm of imagination. When you identify with wealth and walk in its emotional knowing, you no longer ask for riches. You express them. Man makes the mistake of believing he must accumulate evidence before he can claim the identity. But that is the reversal of truth. First the assumption, then the proof. First, the unseen claim, then the tangible effect. You must wear the feeling of wealth like a garment, even if your pockets are empty. Speak with the confidence of one who already has. Move with the assurance of one who is already chosen. Think from the end, not toward it. To become a millionaire spiritually is not to chase a number, but to become conscious of being the one who holds it. You are not attracting something outside of yourself. There is no outside in consciousness. What you call the world is yourself pushed out, and it reflects the state you have consented to occupy. If you want wealth, do not think about it. Think from it. Imagine what it would feel like to know that all your needs were already met. Imagine what it would feel like to receive without doubt, to give without fear, to act without hesitation. That feeling, that sacred vibration, is the truth of your being. Once you touch it, once you dwell in it, you set the law in motion. It is not a law of effort. It is not a law of chance. It is a law of being. When you accept that you are already wealthy in spirit, the shadows of poverty begin to dissolve. The mirror can only reflect what you show it. And if you show it the consciousness of lack, it must show you more lack. But if you show it the inner identity of wealth, regardless of your current facts, it will bow to that image. It will conform. It must. There is no virtue in smallness. There is no humility in limitation. To play small is not piety. It is forgetfulness. You were never meant to scrape by. You were meant to express the fullness of life, to demonstrate the opulence of spirit, to walk this world clothed in the wealth of your divine nature. And you can do so, not by permission, but by assumption. The moment you assume, the moment you identify, you draw the future into the present. You collapse time. What was once far off becomes immediate. That is the mystery of faith, to live now as though we're already so. Do not wait for proof. That waiting is doubt dressed in patience. Move now in the state of wealth. Spend in imagination. Receive in spirit. Rest in the knowing that all things are already yours. And do not be swayed by appearances. If your senses show you the opposite, bless them. For they are merely showing you the result of an old state, a former dwelling place of the mind. They have no power unless you give them authority. When you shift identity, you shift the world. For the world is not fixed. It is fluid, malleable, responsive. It is clay in the hands of the potter, and you are the potter's breath. Breathe success into it. Do not explain away your condition. Transcend it. If you were truly a millionaire in spirit, how would you walk? How would you sit? What thoughts would be natural to you? What fears would fall away? Begin now to live from that truth, and watch the outer life reorganize itself to match the inner pattern. This is not fantasy. This is law. You need no credentials to be rich. You need no permission to be free. You need only the courage to assume, and the discipline to remain loyal to that assumption even when nothing appears to support it. That loyalty, that inner conviction, is the seed from which all wealth blooms. Your spiritual identity is the source of all treasures. You are not becoming rich, you are remembering that you are. And that remembrance, when it is felt deeply and lived faithfully, must express itself in the world as form, as fact, as fortune. The mirror lies, and yet man bows before it. He stands before the reflection and declares it real, forgetting he himself supplied the image it now returns. This is the great delusion that the outer world possesses authority when it is nothing but a report, a printed copy of the inner manuscript. What you see with the eyes of flesh is not causation but echo. It is not power but shadow, but reflection. The world is not the creator of your fate. Your consciousness is. To believe the mirror is to hand over your authority to the puppet and ignore the puppeteer. If the reflection shows poverty and you accept it, then you continue in poverty, not because it is real, but because you made it real through belief. If the mirror reveals limitation and you affirm it with emotion, you write it again into the script of tomorrow. But if you dare to reject the image, not by force, but by silent assumption of something higher, then the mirror must change. This is why nothing is more important than what you assume to be true about yourself. You cannot change the reflection by wrestling with it. No man cleans a dirty mirror by scrubbing the image on the glass. He changes what stands before it. He adjusts the angle of the light. He changes himself, and the reflection obeys. You must cease trying to change your outer world with outer tools alone. For every tool you need is already within. Your inner speech, your habitual thoughts, your unspoken assumptions. These are the true artists painting the landscape you walk through. If you assume that life is hard, that wealth is rare, that success is for others, you will see these beliefs reflected not because they are facts, but because you are loyal to them in consciousness. When you understand that the mirror is a lie, you stop worshipping appearances. You stop measuring your value by your current results. You become immune to facts and statistics and reports. You cease being a servant of the senses and become a master of feeling. And once you become master of your inner world, the outer world becomes your servant. Man often says, "I will believe it when I see it." But the mystic knows, you will see it when you believe it. Sight follows faith, it never precedes it. Faith is the blueprint. It is the mold into which substance flows. If you believe that you are wealthy and persist in that belief, the form must appear, not by coincidence, not by luck, but by law. And yet there is a subtle temptation. The mirror will cry out to you, "See, you are still poor, you are still in lack." It will use every visible fact to seduce you back into the old state. But you must not waver. You must ignore the mirror when it speaks against your vision. Your loyalty must be to the unseen, not the visible. To the inner knowing, not the outer proof. This is not denial of reality. It is recognition of a higher one. To think from the state of wealth, even when every appearance denies it, is to begin walking in power. You no longer ask the world for permission. You no longer need confirmation to continue. You assume the posture of certainty, and the world bends in response. It is alignment. When a man knows who he is in spirit, the world cannot insult him. When he walks as one who has, the world begins to agree. His speech changes. His actions align with his inner image. And soon, the mirror no longer lies, for it has nothing left to reflect but the truth he has lived in secret. The law does not recognize what you want. It recognizes only what you are. And you are always being something in imagination. The question is, are you being it consciously, or are you drifting through states created by fear, history, and doubt? Until you choose deliberately who you are, the mirror will continue to reflect old versions of you. But choose now. Choose to be the one who is already rich, not tomorrow. Now, assume the state as you would a new identity, and wear it with consistency. Refuse to contradict it in word or feeling. And when the mirror shows you the same old story, smile, and remember that it is only an echo, not a prophecy. You are not bound by what the mirror shows. You are bound only by what you believe. If you will think from your desired state, if you will feel from your fulfilled wish, then what must happen will happen. It has no choice but to yield to the image you impress upon it. And so I tell you, do not be deceived by appearances. The only reality is your assumption. Hold it fast. Nourish it daily. Walk in it quietly. And when the mirror changes, you will not be surprised, for you will have seen it first in the place where all things begin, within. A magnetic thought is a wealthy one, and yet most minds think in circles of complaint, lack, and struggle. They wonder why wealth evades them, unaware that they've been repelling it with every vibration of unworthiness, every declaration of "I can't," and every quiet agreement with limitation. The truth is unchanging. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are in consciousness, and what you are is always revealed by your dominant feeling. To become magnetic to money, you must feel money as a natural, easy, and divine presence in your world. It must become so normal to your imagination that its absence in the physical world feels unnatural. This is not about pretending. It is about shifting your identity. It is about realigning the tone of your inner being to match the substance of the thing you claim to desire. You become magnetic to it. When you resent it, you drive it away. There is no mystery in this. Vibration answers vibration. Feelings are magnets. And every time you complain, worry, or criticize wealth, you align with the very lack you seek to escape. But the wise man treats every dollar as sacred. He thanks the unseen supply for each coin that passes through his hand. He gives freely, joyfully, not as one who has little, but as one who is certain of infinite replenishment. This attitude does not begin after the riches come. It causes them to come. A rich man in spirit is generous before he is rich in form. His generosity is not a result, it is a signal, and the signal does not go unanswered. A magnetic thought says, "I am always provided for." It feels the security of abundance even while the bank account is quiet. It assumes that everything needed is already in motion. And because this thought is consistent, rooted in truth and not in appearance, it begins to gather evidence to match it. The world bends to the emotional posture you carry consistently. This is not a temporary trick or a wishful fantasy. It is law. You do not wait for proof to feel abundance. You feel abundance, and the proof appears. But herein lies the test. Most people bless their wealth when it arrives, but curse the space before it comes. In doing so, they delay it endlessly. The blessing must come first. The mental thanksgiving, the invisible confidence, this is the foundation. Every time you think of money, ask yourself, what am I assuming about it? Is money my friend or my enemy? Do I expect it to serve me, or do I fear it will flee? These subtle attitudes form your magnetic field. They are either inviting wealth or rejecting it. To walk as a money magnet, you must dissolve all feelings of guilt, shame, or confusion around wealth. The spiritual man is not meant to be poor. There is nothing holy about lack. Scarcity is not a virtue. It is a misunderstanding. The creator of universes lacks nothing. And if you are made in that image, you too are destined for overflow. Begin each day by claiming your identity as one who is provided for, not one who hopes to be, but one who is. Let that feeling linger. Let it soak into your bones. Say to yourself, everything I need flows to me without effort. Not once, but as often as needed. Every time a thought of fear arises, replace it with this inner decree. Do not measure your wealth by the number in your account, but by the richness of your consciousness. One man with $1 million in the bank may feel poor. He fears loss. Another man with $50 may feel infinite. He expects increase. Who is wealthier? The one whose emotional tone matches abundance. This tone must become your default. It must outlast the temporary appearances. If a bill arrives, bless it. If a delay occurs, bless it. Not because you enjoy the appearance, but because you know the appearance is old news. It is the printout of a former state, and you no longer live there. You live now as a man magnetized to supply. You live now as one whose every breath affirms provision. You walk into a room as though opportunities are already yours. You speak to the future with the certainty of one who knows it is only catching up to your inner world. This magnetism is not loud, it is sure. It is not desperate, it is calm. It does not chase, it draws. And it draws not because of its outer words, but because of its inner tone. When you truly feel wealthy, before the evidence arrives, you have mastered the secret. You will no longer react to the world, but command it silently. You will no longer beg, but receive. And you will know that every thought you think, every image you hold, every feeling you nurture is either building a bridge to riches or reinforcing the wall that keeps them away. The choice is not in the world, it is in you. To visualize is not to entertain idle dreams. It is not wishful thinking, nor a playful fantasy meant to escape reality. Visualization is command. It is the first act of creation. It is the tool by which the unseen becomes seen. When you hold an image with emotional conviction, you are not merely imagining. You are planting a seed in the soil of eternity, and all seeds, when tended in faith, must grow. When a man visualizes with intention, he communes with the source of all things. He bypasses the world of facts and enters the world of causes. In this inner chamber, the laws of matter dissolve, and only one thing remains: the state of consciousness he dares to assume. If he holds the image without wavering, without questioning its reality, the world must obey. It does not obey the weak, the doubtful, or the distracted. It obeys the one who sees with clarity and feels with finality. 3 days is all it takes, not because of time. A single thought, deeply felt and sustained without contradiction, becomes law. When you enter your visualization with this knowing, with this reverence, it is no longer a rehearsal. It is a decree. You are not hoping for something to happen. You are assuming that it already has, and your assumption, consistently felt, hardens into fact. But the majority do not visualize. They daydream. They wander between possibilities, but never commit to one. They entertain a vision of wealth in the morning, then argue for their limitations by noon. They plant seeds in the soil, only to dig them up with fear, doubt, and contradiction. No farmer would do this in the natural world, and yet many do it daily in the spiritual realm. If you desire wealth, you must picture it as though it were already yours, not as a distant possibility, but as a present reality. You must see yourself in possession of all you desire and feel the joy, the peace, the power that would naturally arise from such possession. Let this image become your home. Let it become more real to you than your current environment. Because what you feel to be true in imagination is infinitely more important than what your senses report. Visualization is the language of the unseen. It is the blueprint from which your world is drawn. When you visualize for wealth, you are not creating something new. You are selecting from the infinite. All realities already exist. Your role is not to invent wealth, but to enter the state where it already is. And once you enter it in consciousness, the outer world rearranges to reflect that choice. You must be deliberate. You must be consistent. When you close your eyes and see the version of yourself that is wealthy, successful, and free, do not step out of that state when you open your eyes. Walk through your day as if it were done. Let your words, actions, posture, and mood all affirm that it is so. This is not pretending. This is living from the end. A man who visualizes himself free from debt, but continues to speak of struggle, has contradicted his vision. A woman who sees herself in abundance, but complains of lack, has cancelled her command. The power lies not just in the image, but in the fidelity to it. Your inner scene must become sacred, untouchable by appearances, defended by silence, and revisited with joy. You may visualize for a few minutes, but live the rest of your day in fear, and then wonder why nothing changes. But if you will hold your picture of wealth in the morning, revisit it in the evening, and walk through the hours in the feeling of its truth, the doors will open, resources will come, opportunities will emerge from unexpected places. The world will echo the image you have cherished in secret. The quality of your visualization determines the speed of its arrival. Be specific, be vivid. I am rich. See yourself receiving, giving, investing, creating. Feel the weight of the wealth in your hands. Hear the compliments, the confirmations, the conversations that would arise if it were true. Smell the air of the places you'd walk. Taste the food you'd eat. Sense the peace in your body. The more real it feels, the faster it manifests. And yet, once the visualization is done, release the how. Your role is not to manage the details. It is to live in the end. The mind that visualizes must trust the intelligence that shapes worlds. It must not question the method, nor measure the time. It must rest in the knowing that what is real within must become real without. The world is not fixed, it is fluid. It bends, shifts, and flows according to your dominant assumption. Your visualization is not entertainment, it is instruction. You are telling the world what to become. And if you do not like what you see, go within and change the order. Revisualize, reassume, recreate. When you begin to honor your imagination as the source of all wealth, you will guard your inner scenes with devotion. You will no longer speak of impossibilities. You will no longer react to appearances. You will become silent, still, and sure. And in that stillness, you will hear the whisper of truth. To speak as one who already has is to command the world into form. It is to declare from the mountaintop that the vision is real. Not coming, not pending, but present. The great secret is not to speak about your desire, but from it. For when you speak from the desire already fulfilled, you align yourself with the vibration of its inevitability. Words are not mere sounds, they are forces. They carry within them the tone of your conviction or the echo of your doubt, and the world listens. If you walk through life saying, I want, you will perpetually want. To want is to declare separation. It is to confess through feeling that the thing you seek is not yet yours. But when you say, I have, and feel it as true, you unite with the reality you desire. There is no begging in manifestation, only assuming. And the assumption must be spoken, worn and lived as though it were the most ordinary thing in the world. There is no power in saying, one day I'll be rich. That day is always one step ahead, forever escaping your grasp. But to say, I am rich now, with the calm assurance of one who has already received, that is a magical declaration. And magic, in this sense, it is alignment. You are aligning your inner word with the outer reflection that must follow it. You must speak your world into being, not once, not as an affirmation to convince yourself, but as an expression of your inner knowing. Your words must rise from the well of identity. If you believe you are already the person who has what you desire, then everything you say must echo that truth. No idle talk, no contradiction, no casual agreement with appearances that deny your claim. Most people cancel their manifestation with their tongue. They speak words of faith in the morning and words of fear by afternoon. They declare wealth in their meditation and then complain about bills at dinner. But the creative law is always listening, not to the moments of intensity, but to the consistency of feeling. What you say again and again, what you feel in rhythm, becomes the form your world must take. To assume the speech of wealth is not to boast. It is not arrogance. It is responsibility. You are choosing to walk as the one who already possesses what others are still hoping for. You are choosing to skip the waiting room and move into the inner chamber of fulfillment. And this choice must be reflected in your words, your tone, your attitude. Even your silence speaks. Even your posture says something. The one who has must not only say, I have, but must move, breathe, and respond from that state. To speak as one who already has is to remove the future from your language. It is to end the longing. It is to kill delay with finality. You may be surrounded by people who expect you to speak according to circumstances. They may expect you to confess your struggle, to be realistic, to align your language with what is currently visible. But your loyalty must never be to the facts. It must be to your inner truth. You are not here to confirm what is. You are here to create what will be by assuming it already is. Your conversations with others are important, yes. But more important are your conversations with yourself. Your inner speech, the dialogue no one hears, carries the blueprint of your future. Do you speak to yourself as the wealthy one, the successful one, the favored one? Or do you speak to yourself as one who still needs, who still waits? Change your inner dialogue, and the outer world will have no choice. It must mirror you. If you desire to become rich, stop saying, I am, not with tension, but with ease. Say it as a fact. Say it in the same tone you would say, the sky is blue, or my name is John. Let it be casual, normal, natural. The more natural your assumption becomes, the faster it hardens into fact. Every great change begins with a simple word, and every word, when clothed in belief, becomes a creative act. There are no neutral statements. Every sentence either builds or delays. Every phrase either confirms your new reality or keeps you tethered to the old. Choose your words with the same care a sculptor chooses his chisel. Speak only from the place you wish to dwell in. And when you speak, let there be no tension in your voice. Let there be no desperation in your tone. Speak as one who remembers, not one who begs. The world is not deaf, it is obedient. It responds not to struggle, but to certainty. If you would only observe your speech for one day, you would see the exact reason for your current condition. You are never punished for your words. You are shaped by them. You are never judged by the world. You are reflected by it. And what it reflects is what you have persistently affirmed in word and tone. You may not feel rich now, but speak as though you are. You may not see the wealth yet, but declare its presence. For as you speak, so shall it be. Certainly. Here's a powerful and mystical conclusion that brings together all 6 expanded keynotes in the style of Neville Goddard, with educational clarity, spiritual symbolism. A true crescendo to the entire speech series. You have now seen the path laid bare, not the path to wealth in the world, but the path to wealth within. For what is the world if not yourself externalized? What is money if not your consciousness clothed in form? You have not come here to chase fortune. You have come to remember that you are the fortune, the cause, the source, the creator of all conditions you will ever experience. It began with sight, not physical sight, but the sacred vision held within. The power to see yourself as already rich, already fulfilled, already chosen. From that vision, you were led to the deeper knowing that your spiritual identity has never known lack. You were never meant to beg. You were meant to assume. You were never meant to hope. The mirror showed you what you previously believed. But now you know the mirror is obedient, not authoritative. It reflects the seed of assumption. And once you shift your inner speech, your posture, your tone, the mirror cannot help but shift with you. Then you learn to bless, not just the money in your hand, but the invisible supply behind all things. The magnetic thought is the wealthy thought. The grateful tone is the abundant vibration. You became a money magnet, not by desire, but by decision. The decision to feel rich now. You stepped beyond daydreaming into the divine art of visualization. You realized that every inner picture is a living command. That what you hold in imagination for just 3 days becomes your new reality. Not someday, not when conditions approve, but now by law. And at last you learn to speak, not as one who wants, but as one who has. You discovered that the tongue is the scepter of the soul. That every sentence is either a bridge to your wealth or a gate back to your old self. So you chose words of ownership, of fulfillment, of present tense power. All 6 keynotes have not given you a method. They have revealed your identity. They have not offered a system. They have reminded you of your nature. You are not a seeker. You are not a beggar. You are not a servant to chance. You are the assumption. You are the one who sees, feels, declares, and becomes. And if you should ever forget, close your eyes again and return to the silence where all wealth begins. The silence of inner vision, the silence of assumed truth, the silence where imagination creates reality. In that silence, it is already done.